Jasmine Crockett and AOC has some things to say about the resignation of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Time to blow it up.
So, as we know, Marjorie Taylor Greene announced that she is resigning in January 5th to be exact, citing a feud that's been going on with her and Donald Trump that ended up leading to Donald Trump wanting to endorse a Republican candidate, opposite of her to basically get her out of the seat. So she figured that she's just going to leave. And when you're going up against somebody like Donald Trump, then usually your best recourse is to get out the way or stay and fight. But you have to be strong enough to want to stay and fight, right? And I feel like if she thought that what she was doing was right, she wouldn't be resigning. But Jasmine Crockett and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had some things to say about that, and we're going to read what they decided to say on Twitter, and I'll give my thoughts on what they said. Here's what Jasmine Crockett had to say regarding Marjorie's resignation. I'm going to be honest, I didn't see this coming, but the threats that come with being on the opposite side of Trump are real. People need to wake up. Trump only knows how to use people up and then cast them aside when he's done. He did it to his VP. He's done it to those that wanted the Epstein files. He did it to those that believed he cared about their struggles. And now he's doing it to one of his most loyal followers. Going forward, no one, elected or otherwise, should allow any person to coax them into creating a culture of violence. MTG referenced not wanting to be a battered woman. I'll say this. My granny used to say, don't play with fire because you just may get burned. I'm still waiting for Republicans to stand firmly against the president's death wishes on sitting members of the House and Senate. My final word on this is that my office has reached out to MTGs to work on some member safety legislation. I'm serious about working collaboratively on this effort. If there's an interest, we can get it drafted before January. So it sounds like Jasmine is extending an olive branch to Marjorie. And also, what she said is true. Don't play with fire if you don't want to get burned. Donald Trump, in this case, is the fire. And Marjorie has gotten burned. And instead of her, staying and going through the fire, I guess believing that her constituents or believing that she has done enough for her constituents for them to want to vote her in no matter who Donald Trump pits against her. That kind of says a lot if you want to be honest. It really says. So taking what Jasmine had to say, basically you cannot really play with somebody who only really cares about himself. And Marjorie is seeing that. Once again, you don't play with the fire if you don't want to get burned. But it also, once again, says a lot about what she has done for her constituents, for her to believe that they wouldn't vote her back in, if Donald Trump pits somebody against her. I get it, the MAGA cult is real and it's strong. But if you were out here on the stumping grounds for your constituents, for, actual things for your constituents instead of culture warring every 5 minutes, you probably wouldn't have that much to worry about. And you would run the race. And if you lose with dignity because you did for your constituents, right? Your constituents is who's following the cult. But she had to leave because she did not want to go through a loss that probably would have been agonizing. But let's go and see what AOC had to say regarding her resignation. Okay, so I couldn't find anything specifically on AOC's page, but this is a post from someone else that Jasmine Crockett reposted. It says AOC on MTG retire. She's carefully timing her departure just 1 to 2 days after her pension kicks in, and after making millions of dollars insider trading stocks for weapons manufacturers and others while in office. Ooh. She is saying a lot, but her actions have not backed up the rhetoric. For all her talk, she's still voting with them to gut healthcare and advance self-dealing corruption schemes. Hmm. That's short, but I mean it packs a punch based off of what she's saying. Um, I don't. Me personally, I figure that most people in Congress are insider trading. That's just my thought on it. I don't really think people in Congress, period, should be able to dabble in the stock market because they have the power to make changes to the stuff that they would be buying stocks or selling. They will have firsthand knowledge of a business going under or whatever. So I don't think they should be able to dabble in the stock market, but that's just me. That's just my mindset. Don't know how anybody else feel about that. But so it looks as if AOC decided to throw a little bit of shade toward Marjorie Taylor's way, which you can't really blame her for that because Marjorie kind of attacked that woman through most of her career. Marjorie also joined Donald Trump in attacking her and Jasmine Crockett. But I do agree with both what both of them said, and I also once again don't agree with anybody in Congress playing and dabbling in the stock market. And we all know Nancy Pelosi is like the the stock market queen, right? But I don't believe with anybody in the Senate or the House dabbling in the stock market. I don't think it's fair to the regular people that's out here trying to dabble in the stock market, but usually can't get those same breaks. Or people like what was her name, Paula Deen, I think, went to prison for insider trading, but we got everybody in the House and Senate playing the stock market, basically insider trading. How is that fair, right? But with that being said, y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation, about Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning, about the things that AOC and Jasmine Crockett said, and if y'all could give me a like, subscribe to my channel for more content, comment down below, and hit the notification bell because I will be back. Peace.
The Truth TV. Subscribe, like, and comment.